Hello there, and to all who come to this happy place, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Abby and I upload Disney planning content here on my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be telling you about my job as a travel agent specializing in Disney destinations. Now, I was asked on Instagram if I could make a video about this because, as I announced over there, my travel agency, Friend Like Me Travel Co., is doing a hiring round. And because I know so many of you out there that watch my videos are complete Disney fanatics, I thought that I would share this opportunity with you, as well as answer some questions that I got from a lot of different people. So again, if you're not following me on Instagram, I have a lot of content that goes up over there that doesn't make it here. So make sure to follow the link in the description down below so that you don't miss any of that. Now, let's just jump right into the questions. So the first thing that I want to address is that you probably clicked on this video because you want to become a Disney travel agent. Now, I am here to tell you that unfortunately that job does not exist. We are not allowed to call ourselves Disney travel agents. No one is. Across the board, if someone is calling themselves a Disney travel agent, that should be a red flag. Whether you are, a travel agent or looking to book through a travel agent. Disney travel agents do not exist. So that's why there's little quotation marks around that term in the title of this video. Disney does not want to associate themselves with you working for them. You don't work for Disney, you work with Disney. So Friend Like Me Travel Company works with Disney to plan guest vacations. We do not work for Disney in any way. And that's really important because that means that you work in the best interest of your client. If we worked for Disney, we would have to sell things through their lens, not through ours. So one of my most important jobs as a travel agent is to share honest opinions and honest recommendations for clients. So it's to put them in the right situation for them, not the situation that Disney wants them to be in. So that's a really important distinction when you're looking at different travel agencies. If they are advertising as Disney travel agents, that's not a good sign. That's all I'm going to say on that. But let's just jump right into the questions. I can clear that up if anyone has any questions regarding that. So the next question that I got is, do you only sell Disney vacations? So this is an important question to consider when you're looking at different agencies. And the reason this is important is because you want to make sure that you're going to be supported in whatever endeavor you want to take. Now, my agency, Friend Like Me Travel Company, we believe that we should be able to help the whole client, not just the Disney client. So if our Disney family wants to go to Aruba the next year, we want to be able to help them with their vacation. Now, with that being said, we don't require any of our agents to sell anything other than Disney. We don't require them to sell anything, but we focus our attention and our training and our agency marketing on Disney because it's what we do best. And it's kind of where we got our start. It's what we enjoy. It's our passion. So that's kind of how we see things. Now, I will say, if you want to sell Disney, it is so important that you are with an agency that truly is passionate about Disney, because I see a lot of people, new agents or agents who don't sell a lot of Disney, and they are with agencies that don't do Disney much and they have no support. They don't know what's going on. So if you want to sell Disney, make sure you're with someone that will support you well. Now, if you don't want to sell much Disney at all, we're probably not the right agency for you. But if you want to sell mostly Disney and you also want to be able to sell other things, then we are probably a really good fit. But I'll get more into that later. The next question that I got is, do you need experience in sales? And the answer to that is no. A lot of our genies come in without any prior sales experience. To me, being a travel agent isn't so much about sales as it is about getting to know a person and making appropriate recommendations. So we don't put an emphasis on sales numbers. We don't have sales requirements. We just want to make sure that our clients are happy and that we are doing the best that we can do for the client and making sure they get the trip that's in their best interest and all of that. So we don't put a heavy emphasis on sales. Of course, it is a sales position. That is literally the job, but we don't really look at it through a dollar sign amount. Does that make sense? I don't know. Having sales experience is of course a bonus, but like definitely not required when it comes to us. There are totally other agencies. I am answering all of these questions as a person that hires people. So I'm not speaking for any other agency other than Friend Like Me Travel Company. And the reason I can do that is because I own it. It is my baby. So yeah, just get that out there before we go any further. So the next question that I got is, how do you become a travel agent? And the first step is really to travel. If you have a lot of travel experience, then you're on the right track. If you don't have a lot of travel experience, then you probably need to get more under your belt before you start applying. Then the next step is to find an agency. So I think that's a later question. Yeah, there's a later question about how to find the right agency, so stick around for that answer later. But, you know, applying is really the first step after traveling. Traveling is the most important part. Because you can't sell what you don't know. So now, like, it can all be Disney travel, in my opinion, for my agency. But you don't have to have been I really haven't been many other places, honestly. I went to Colorado when I was 7, and my family went to Maine every year when I was a kid. But I haven't been in like 8 years because bugs just are not for me, my friends. We'll talk about more of the after you get hired later in the video as well. So this question is kind of answered in other questions as well. The next question was, what are the cons? And I don't want to just give the cons because that's like a downer. So I'll give the pros and the cons. The pros of this are, I think one of the biggest pros is that if you are looking to get into business, but you don't have a product to sell, or you don't know what you want to do, or you want to do it some way to do with travel, then this is a really great low-cost opportunity. I run a sizable business with it. Like, as an agent, I technically have 2 businesses, okay? I have the running a travel agency as a travel agency owner, and I have my individual business. I'm an independent contractor for Friend Like Me Travel Company as well. As an independent contractor / travel agent, I'll tell you right now, my business expenses are less than $300 a month, and that I spend more than the average bear does because I have things like, I have a website that costs several $1,000s a year. I have like stuff like that. It costs me not much to run my business, and that's like counting my cell phone because that's part of my business, and a very important part of my business, having access to stuff at all times. So it's a low cost job. And it's a low-cost business with very significant opportunity when it comes to income. I personally am a very numbers-driven person. So the appeal of being a travel agent to me is partly that you can make as much money as you want to make as long as you're willing to put in the work to make it happen. This job is not like an easy job, but it's a very rewarding job in more ways than one. So, like, the client work is rewarding, but the income is also rewarding if you're doing things correctly. And, like, I teach you that as one of my agents, so I'm not going to go too far into that. But, like, yeah. The cons, and, well, no, there's one more pro. The other pro is that you can do this job from wherever you are. I could do this job from Italy. I can't get to Italy right now because COVID. But if I wanted to go to Italy, I could work. I wouldn't have to take time off. I don't have to let someone know that I'm going out of town. Like, it's a job that I can do from wherever. So I am personally kind of a nomadic person. I don't love anywhere that I've ever lived, and I really don't anticipate loving anywhere that I live in the future enough to stay there forever. So the fact that I can move around with job stability is really awesome. Now, job stability is kind of a weird word considering we're in a global pandemic, or coming out of a global pandemic, but yeah. Anyway, okay. So that's a con. The other con, no, that wasn't a con, that was a pro. The cons. The cons are probably, the biggest one is that if your clients cancel, you don't get paid. Vendors don't pay until after your clients have traveled. So if they don't travel, the vendors don't pay. Which means basically if you don't charge planning fees, then you made no money for the work you did, which sucks. But that honestly doesn't happen that often. It's happening a little more now than it has in the past. But before COVID, I rarely got cancellations. And I kind of expect that once COVID is gone, we will return to that very little cancellation thing. Now, as your business scales and you have more clients, you're going to have more cancellations, but it's like a percentage thing. It's not like anyway. Next question is, are there fees involved? And to understand the answer to this question, the answer is yes. But the reason for it is because as a travel agent, you're an independent contractor. As an independent contractor, your employer is not like a full-time or part-time employer. You're a contractor. That means you make your own hours. That means they can't tell you when to work or how to conduct your business. They don't pay into taxes. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Like, you need to set money aside for taxes and all of that. But the other important thing is the travel agency needs to protect themselves in a way that the independent contractor line is very clearly drawn in the sand. We cannot cross over into employee line. It's a big no-no. So there are fees to running your business, and that's basically how we do things. So things like your email address you have to pay for, your business cards you have to pay for, your portion of the errors and omissions insurance you have to pay for, and then we have like a customer relations manager that you have to pay for, but these costs are low. They're not anything outrageous a year or anything, but we have to have the independent contractor pay them in order to keep that line drawn very clearly. So yeah. The next question is, do you work from home? I sure do. I'm sitting in my home office. But like I said earlier, I also can work from Walt Disney World. I can work from Disneyland. I can work from Germany. I can work from China. I can work from wherever I am. I can go visit family for a week and it not disrupt my work life at all. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite things about this job. The other favorite thing is that I can work on my own schedule. So I am someone that works really well at night, hence why it's getting dark outside. So I work really well at night, so I do a lot of my work in the middle of the night. I don't have to answer to anyone as to when I did work or how much work I did or how much time I spent on it. Now, I will say that your amount of time you put into it directly affects what you get out of it. That's definitely a thing. This is good if you have like a family situation, or like if you've got a new baby in the family. You can take time off without having to tell someone you're taking time off. It's really cool. The next question is, I'm going to answer two questions in one. Is this something you can do while also working a full-time job? And the other question is it a full-time gig or is it something someone already in a career can do? So these are pretty much the same question. And like I said, you're an independent contractor, so you don't work full-time. I will tell you, I work more than full-time on this, but it's because this is my career path. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I work a lot to make it happen now so that I can kind of like coast later. That's not the right word, but I have a plan for my business and that it requires a lot of work now, so I work less later. I'm happy to discuss that with any of my genies that want to know my thought process, or my plan. But yeah. So yeah, a lot of our genies do work full-time jobs, and the ones that don't are stay-at-home moms. So yeah, this is a great opportunity, whether you work in like another office setting, or we've got a nurse, we've got many teachers, or if you just want to stay home with your kids. The next question was, how do travel agents make money? Travel agents, generally the bulk of their income comes from vendors. And the way it works is that vendors pay travel agents to market their destinations, sell their destinations, stuff like that. The fee for that comes to the agency. And then as an agency, we pay our agents. When you are working for an agency, there is a commission split. The agency keeps a portion to cover the costs that it costs, I guess, to run the agency. There are a ton of hidden costs that you have no idea about. And then the rest of it goes to the agent. When you are looking for an agency, it's important to look for a fair commission split. So if someone's offering you 40% of your commission, that's not a fair split. The agency keeping 60%, in my opinion, is not something that anyone should ever be okay with. I've even seen as low as 30. Yeah, I will tell you right now, we don't take that much. We basically just take what it costs to keep you on board. But yeah, we start at industry standard, and then you're able to move up depending on your sales. So when you reach certain very clear sales benchmarks, then you are able to. The next question is advice on finding clients. So everyone kind of has to find their own groove. My groove is YouTube. So probably 90% of my clients come from YouTube, and probably 8% come from Facebook. I'm kind of making this up, but like 90% come from YouTube. It's true. And then like 8% probably comes from Facebook, and then maybe 2% comes from Instagram. I don't get much from Instagram at all. So I also don't put much time and attention on Instagram because I don't get clients from it. So it's like maybe if I put more attention on Instagram, I'd get more clients from it, but it's just not where my attention lies. But I have an agent, Brooke, who gets a lot of her clients from Instagram. So it's all about finding your strength and what's going to work for you. A lot of your first clients are going to be from your network. Personally, I don't book many friends and family. And the reason for that is because I personally focus on Disney. And the truth of the matter is a lot of my family and friends don't do the Disney thing. It's just not what they enjoy, and that's totally fine. But I'm doing okay without it. But a lot of people, what I have seen, keep in mind I'm also young. So like my friends from high school and stuff don't have kids yet to take to Disney. So I expect eventually I will start booking more people that I know in real life as opposed to random humans on the internet. But I like my random humans from the internet. So yeah. Anyway, a lot of our newer agents have a big surge of bookings right at the beginning when they announce they're a travel agent, and then things slow down until their social media starts to pick up. That's totally normal and to be expected. So I just thought of another con. So another con, sorry, we're going way back. Another con is that you don't get paid for quite a while. So like different vendors are different. So but none of them pay until after your client has traveled. So like I'm booking people into 2022 right now. I'm not going to get paid for the people that I'm working with until next year. Different vendors also pay on a different times table. So like Disney pays really quickly, but there's one, I think it's Expedia. Expedia pays like once a quarter. So if you like, just miss the cutoff, you're not getting paid for a really long time for Expedia. Yeah, so that's a con. All right. Next question is it okay if I haven't been to Disney since COVID? Now, this is totally going to depend on the agency, just like the rest of these, but we personally at this time are not holding it against anyone for having not been back since the pandemic. It's a really personal decision right now whether or not you want to travel. There will come a time where it's important to have had some post-COVID travel experience, but I don't feel that we're there yet. So it's okay, but you're probably going to need to start traveling in the nearish future. The last question that I'm going to answer today is, what is the best way to find an agency to join and stand out in your application? You want to make sure that the agencies you're applying for are reputable. You want to make sure they have good reviews from their clients. You want to make sure that they have like history. At least the agency owners should have history as far as like being in the industry. You should not be opening your own agency if you have no experience in the field. Running an agency is an entirely different beast than being a travel agent. And if you're going to hire travel agents, you need to know what that job entails. And it's not a good idea to learn both jobs at once. Not a good idea at all. And I will tell you right now, most travel agency owners don't really sell travel. Like, eventually I will stop selling travel. We're not there yet. We're still like a younger company, so we are not in that position at this time, but eventually I will not sell travel anymore. You want to make sure right now, like a really good question to ask in your interview is, how did they handle COVID? What happened as far as their agency? What did their agents do during the time when no one was booking? Like stuff like that. Actually, that's a good interview question for any job interview. How did they handle COVID? So like, for example, we buckled down on training, and our genies did so much training in the matter of like 6 weeks with different vendors that it was like incredible. And we've gotten calls from our vendors like, oh my gosh, your team is amazing because look at your success rate with look at your completion rate between all of your genies. Having a strong training program is definitely a must because you don't know what you're doing yet, and you need to have somewhere that's going to teach you the ropes. Like us, for example, we have new genie orientation that everyone does when they come in. They have 30 days to complete it. It goes over everything from the vendors we sell to how things work to who's who in the company. I don't know, there's a lot in there. It took us like a month to put together. But there's also some vendor training that's required at the beginning, and you want to make sure that, first of all, your agency tells you that that's required, because if they don't, that's a red flag as to the kind of support that you're going to get. That's another thing. You want to make sure you have like the support that you need. I will tell you, not every agency is for everyone. So our agency is best for people that are looking for a team. They're looking for Disney friends. They're looking for a supportive group of people who want to help each other grow their business. That's the kind of person that we are looking to hire, and that's the kind of person that should be applying to our agency. If you're someone that works better on your own, or like you don't ever want to hear from us, we are not the right fit for you. And when you are applying to different travel agencies, don't apply to too many, first of all. And second of all, the expectation, if you haven't traveled a lot, you're probably not going to hear back from most of them. Before I started being a travel agent with my original travel agency, I had applied to a couple different others, but I had no business being a travel agent at that time. I had very little travel experience and just didn't get any calls back or emails or anything, and that's because I wasn't qualified. How the tables have turned. But yeah, you need a lot of travel under your belt in order to stand out as a candidate. And when I'm reading through applications, I'm looking for travel experience. I'm looking for people to genuinely be themselves. And I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true. I really, big pet peeve of mine is when people don't use complete sentences when there's like a paragraph thing that you should write. I don't know, one of our questions is, why should people use a travel agent? And if you give me a couple little words, that's I really don't like that. And usually that kind of disqualifies you. I want to see that you want this position and that you're going to be dedicated to it, because if you're not dedicated to the application, you're not going to be dedicated to your client, and that puts my company and their name on the line. So showing genuine interest and excitement for the opportunity, stuff like that is all really important to me when I'm reading applications. And then just while we're on the topic, once you fill out an application with my company, there are 2 more steps to the application process. So if we read through the application and we are interested in pursuing you, we will send you a web-based interview that goes over different Walt Disney World knowledge things and other Disney destinations. My goals when I'm hiring are twofold. The first part is, are they going to treat clients well and do a good job and, make me proud? The second thing is, are they going to mesh well with my team? Because my team is, our team is everything. And so I want to make sure that we are not messing with our company culture. So if I think someone isn't going to be the right fit, I follow my gut, because we're all girls right now. My girls are very important to me, and I want to make sure that they all feel comfortable as we continue to grow. So after the web interview questionnaire, whatever you want to call it, we have got a phone interview, and the phone interview is the last step in the process. Most of the time we do hire people to get phone interviews. We do the web-based interviews, so we don't waste our time on the phone with people that we probably wouldn't end up hiring. But yeah, so once the phone interview happens, we're kind of doing last checks on like making sure we like the vibe of the person, we feel like they'll be a good fit in the company culture and all of that. And from there, you get started. And a lot of people, the requirement is 30 days to complete your training and orientation stuff. But a lot of people finish it in a week and are up and running within a week. So it's a really awesome opportunity. I love my job, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. If you would like to apply to Friend Like Me Travel Company, then make sure to check the link in the description or the comment section. I'm going to put it in both. And, you know, feel free to apply. I look forward to reading your application. With that being said, I will talk to you guys in my next video, which will be a regular old planning video. All right, bye guys.